Okay, well, welcome to today's interview. This is the first in a series of interviews that we're going to start with the athletic training friends and associates that I've had over the years, some mentors and some really good friends. And I want to introduce Tracy Hauser, also known as, if you see on the screen, Bird
Woman.
Woman. Why do you have that on your screen there?
The property that we bought out here in Montana, where I'm currently at, um, was each of the lots were named, uh, and ours was named Bird Woman, which is also stands for that's what Sacagawea means is Bird Woman.
And I should have prefaced this by saying Tracy was a good friend of mine and associate at Fort Wayne Orthopedics and Orthopedic Hospital. We both worked at rival high schools in the same conference and saw each other many times a year at football and basketball and some other events and things like that. So what sparked your interest to get into athletic training?
So my freshman year of high school, I sprained my ankle really bad. And, I had a basketball coach who would tape my ankle and he said, you should get into athletic training. I had no idea what he was talking about. I was, yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't know what that is. Um, but it was always in the back of my mind. So eventually, after going to school for a little bit, I changed my um, major to athletic training, and here I am.
Okay. So you said your freshman year of high school. Did you currently there, did you have an athletic trainer when
No,
you were in high school?
no,
Yeah,
no,
same as me. I didn't know what athletic training was until I went to college. And
exactly.
so, where are you from originally?
I'm from Fort Wayne. I grew up in the Waynedale area, but went to Concordia High School
Okay,
and graduated in '88, so
wow,
many years ago.
that's awesome. Yeah. Okay, and so then you went on to school. Where did you go to school? You said you changed majors to for athletic training, but where did you go to school?
So for athletic training, I was at Vincennes, a junior college down south, and it was a 2-year program meant to go on to like Indiana State,
Hmm.
but I also played volleyball and wanted to continue to play volleyball and was not a D1 athlete. So, and at a lot of D1 schools, you can't do both athletic training and a sport.
Right.
So I went to an NAIA school called Park University in Parkville, Missouri, which is actually just right outside of Kansas City. So we'll just say Kansas City.
Athletic training as a major, as an undergrad
Mhm.
major.
Yes, undergrad internship
Okay.
when
Okay.
they have those.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so you majored in athletic training, and then was there anybody that influenced you besides your high school basketball coach that was a good mentor for you when you were in athletic training in sport?
Well, at Vincennes, Mark Goodrich and Robert Cullen, who were the head of the athletic training program, were very influential and very supportive. And they were the ones that to help me find Park University to continue on in athletic training.
Cool. So you got your education there, and
Mhm.
then where was your first job as an athletic trainer?
My first job as an athletic trainer was still in Kansas City at what was called Mariner Rehab. I worked in a clinic, PT clinic, 5 days a week, and then went to the school. It was not, I was only contracted to go to like cover events. I was not there for practices. So it
At high
wasn't
school,
like,
secondary setting.
yeah, secondary setting. Oak Park High School was where I was at.
Okay. Did you have any other thoughts or desires to do any other level of athletic training, like college or professional or anything? Or
One of my classmates at Park had moved to Detroit, and he was working at a hospital system that were going to pick up the Detroit WNBA team. And he told them about me. They called, we talked. Um, So there had been a possibility that I could have done that.
Hmm.
Now, at the same time, I was also talking to Peter Panessa at Fort Wayne Orthopedics. And the Detroit thing, they just kept
Dragging
yes,
it along, not
yeah,
nothing concrete.
exactly. And finally, the lady at the hospital there said, I don't know when this is going to happen. If you have another job offer, go ahead and take it. So that's how I got back to Fort Wayne and Fort Wayne Orthopedics.
Okay. And when you got hired by Fort Wayne Orthopedics, where what was your role there, and were you placed at a high school?
I was hired to take over at Norwell. So
Yeah.
I got there in 1998 at Norwell High School.
So how did you like that job? What was it like at Norwell High School? What's it like being a secondary school athletic trainer up here in Fort Wayne? And what were the best parts of it?
I loved Norwell. I was so excited that the girls won state this year. So
They had a great
excited for
run.
Eric Thornton.
Yeah.
That
Good
was a long
coach.
time coming. So I was excited for that. So I still follow them. I still talk to them. Um, I was home for spring break and I went and found my old original athletic director, Mike Gilbert, and visited with him and his wife. So working at Norwell was amazing. Coaches were amazing. Administration was amazing. It's a really good school to be
Still,
at. Yeah.
yeah, and they're very competitive, like you said, in
Mm-hmm.
lots of different sports.
Oh yeah. Baseball.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's a good experience being at the high school. And what was your favorite sport to cover there at the high school?
I love volleyball. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter where I'm at, to cover volleyball is my favorite.
gotcha. All right. Since you're down in Norwell, how did you make time for you and family time? And secondary school athletic training is 6 days a week in the fall, and sometimes 5 days a week in the wintertime, and in the spring is just hit or miss with Indiana weather.
Right. So, that's one thing that you have to know when you're an athletic trainer at the secondary setting,
Yeah.
that things are going to change, and you can't always, you might have a family event on the weekend and it rained and now baseball has been rescheduled. So, and for 17 years or so, I was the single athletic trainer there. So there was nobody to say, hey, can you do this weekend? You had to do it. And, you know, it, Dan, my husband, understood that was, he knew what an athletic trainer was before we got married. So he
That's
knew what
that's
we
uh,
were
that's
signing.
a perk of the relationship, is both parties knowing what it is going into it.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So athletic training, like you said, is in the spring it's hit or miss with weather, reschedules all the time, cancellations all the time. You just
Mm-hmm.
never know; it's up in the air. Whereas
Yep.
fall, it's scheduled. We're gonna play no matter what. We're gonna play
Yes.
in the rain, the mud,
Yes.
the hot, the
No.
sun, the whatever. The only thing that's canceling us is lightning. And
Exactly.
so, but
Exactly.
yeah, and I remember one football game we had to go down to Norwell, and we played that whole game, and there was lightning all north of us.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And we were being on the visitor sideline. We were watching the lightning show all
Yeah.
north of us the whole game, thinking any minute we're going to get called because of lightning. And those refs just kept on playing and kept on playing. And we got on the bus and went home. And on the radio, every other game in the area was was was
Canceled
canceled,
except ours.
except for ours. We were far enough south that
Yeah.
yeah, lightning detectors weren't
That
a
was
thing back then.
before those.
Yeah, before those. So yeah, but yeah, and athletic training, like you said, is one of those careers where it's a it's a it's it's a building career, sometimes a stepping stone career
Yeah.
for a lot of people. And
Yeah.
so they either go into physical therapy, or they go into some other medical sales, or they go into some other medical allied health career and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes a special person to be like you, to be at the secondary setting and be comfortable there and just love what you're doing there. Working with those high school athletes and sometimes middle school athletes and dealing with the families. And that's, I'm sure one of the big parts that kept you there for 17 years, all by yourself.
Yeah. The kids were awesome. I never had, I mean, you always have every once in a while that athlete that is an issue. But they're going to
Job
graduate.
security.
They're going to graduate. Just get through it. They'll be fine. Everybody will be fine. They'll graduate.
Yeah. Okay. I got a few questions for you. Rapid
Mhm.
response here. So,
Okay.
okay. Uh, what's your go-to snack on the sideline?
Trail mix, homemade trail mix. I make my own.
Yeah, that sounds great. Okay. Shoes are a big thing for athletic trainers. What's your favorite brand of active shoes to wear?
Asics, my go-to for everything.
I've had quite a few pairs of Asics.
hmm
That's good. Okay. If you are on the sideline, uh, is it fanny pack, sling bag, or backpack, or what's your go-to carry?
Sling pack. Yeah.
Sling pack,
hmm
just ease of access to get the stuff, or
Exactly. Yep.
yeah, don't want to look like the dad on vacation with the fanny pack or something.
No, no, I try not to look like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay. Coolest experience you've had as an athletic trainer?
um, Going to state with football at Norwell because we got to play in Lucas Oil Stadium. That was pretty fun. I also enjoyed the last few years here in Montana. I help
Mhm.
out the Glacier Range Riders, which is a single A
Baseball.
baseball. Yeah, that's been fun, and then I'm going to be coming up. This will be my first try, not first try, but first time covering rodeo. So
Sounds
that'll be
exciting.
really interesting.
Sounds like a very contact related sport, combination of
Oh,
football, rugby, ice
mm-hmm.
hockey,
Yeah.
wrestling, you
And
know,
you throw in a bull and a
throwing a
horse.
bull and yeah, and those guys are pretty tough too. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
understand.
So that's going to be interesting. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Okay. What's the hobby that gets you away from athletic training after, so many days in a row of attending events or going to practices and other things?
So the reason why we came out to Montana is my husband also does photography, and we love doing photography, nature, landscape, and I mean we have a pretty amazing background to be able to do that. So photography, hiking.
Sounds
I'm
fun.
also a bit of a rock hound, and so I've started tumbling rocks and polishing rocks, and so yeah, that kind of thing.
That sounds very relaxing too. So
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
hiking for my wife and I, we'd be really uh, up for that. And
It's awesome. We just have like you go up to the one of the cul-de-sacs, and we're surrounded by national forest. So there are trails just surrounding us. We can just walk out our back door and start hiking if we wanted.
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Tracy, it's been awesome getting back and touching with base with you and getting to share some experiences and get to know you just a little bit more. But I appreciate your time and
Well,
thank
thank
you
you.
very much.
Thank you. It was great talking to you again, Luby.
Yeah, well, I hope this series takes off and
Yeah,
lots of people subscribe and like the video and share the video, and we get to talk to all kinds of athletic trainers from all over the Midwest and even part of the country. So,
I'll
thanks.
be watching.
All right, take care.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
See ya.